Facebook counting down. So hopefully it will jump back in and it'll do a little different this time than when it's done. Thank you so much for those hearts too. I appreciate that. So guys, again, share this if you will for me. So I often think about, I'll tell Ben, I'll say, Ben, I want you to run and I want you to go clean up your room, right? And when I tell Ben to go run and clean up his room, he'll run in his room and he'll get distracted by things that are on the floor. He'll get distracted by things that are all around him. He'll get distracted by his phones and all of his different devices, because you know he has every device you could possibly think of. And so I will tell him to go and to go clean up his room. And when I tell him to go clean up his room, he'll get distracted, right? I will come back, and when I come back into his room from expecting him to do something, I notice that he has not done it, right? And so he will get in trouble for what he has not done, and he will have to face the consequences of not completing what he was asked to do. And I think back to us and to our lives as individuals, how God has put us here for a specific purpose, right? Each person has a unique purpose driven down into your DNA. He has a purpose that is fine-tuned into the DNA of your life, of what he's created you to be and what he's created you to do. And when we begin to think about how often do we seek God for what that purpose is? And is it possible that some of the reason that we may be frustrated, the times that we are frustrated, could it be possible that the reason why we are is because we are suffering the consequences of not fulfilling our purpose, not fulfilling what God has destined and designed us to do? Right? We've got to learn how to operate in divine purpose and what God has put us here to do. Now, when this happens with Benjamin, I'll begin to fuss at him, and I'll begin to tell him, Ben, you got to do this, you got to go, go in the room, and he'll sit there and whine. And what happens from that point? He becomes delayed, right? He becomes delayed. What he was given and assigned to do has become delayed. But here's the reality. Whether he wants to go back to it or not, he's going to do what he was asked to do. And here's the thing. Some of us get so delayed in our purpose. We get so delayed in what God has called us to do because we let things capture our attention. We let things pull us away from what we were created to do, right? And so just like with Ben, we'll sit in a place of massive frustration, being upset or being angered or being mad because of the fact that it seems as though we're in a cyclone, or we're in this position where nothing is happening for us, nothing is falling through for us. But God is saying, if you would redirect yourself back to your purpose, redirect yourself back to what I've called you to, redirect yourself back to what I've created you for, what I've placed you in the earth for, if you would redirect yourself back to that, then you will notice Proverbs chapter 16 and verse number 17 that says that he will cause even your enemies to be at peace with you. A lot of times we get frustrated with our bills, we get frustrated with our health, we get frustrated with various different things in life. But the reality is, a lot of times the reason why we are frustrated is because we're not fulfilling purpose with those things that God has designed specifically and strategically for those things. I tell my church all the time that preaching is not my purpose, right? My purpose is to close the gap. My purpose is to be an explanation to people, or to give explanation to people that they can understand, that they would not otherwise be able to comprehend, right? So people can sit in church forever and ever and ever and ever, and they might not hear the words or grasp the understanding that God is trying to release to them through the speaker or through the preacher. But it takes many different tools. The vocation of preaching, the vocation of ministering is not my purpose. It is one of the tools that God uses to help fulfill my purpose. And so you have to drill down within your own individual lives, God, what was I purposed on earth to do? And everything else that you do from that point will begin to line up, as long as it's with the will of God. Right? So let's take some action today. And for the next 10 days, I'm going to give us something to take action with. And I'm going to give us something that's going to be a challenge. And guys, thank you so much for logging in. Thank you so much for joining and for sharing this video. Just press the share button for me, if you will. God is actually calling us to, I'm going to give us some points of action. Okay? And here's one of the points of action that I want you to mark down. All right? You ready? Y'all ready? First thing is, I want you to ask yourself the question, what motivates me? Ask yourself the question tonight, what motivates me? And this is in us, the direction of us trying to fulfill purpose. What motivates me? Mind you, let's go back to talking for just a few moments about understanding. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a direct purpose, right? Thank you guys so much for sharing this video. Thank you so much. What motivates you? Second point of action is define what occupies your mind and your space. Your mind. What occupies your mind? What constantly are you thinking about all the time that may be distracting you from what matters to you? All right? Because a lot of times I think that we allow people, places, and things, relationships, situations, circumstances, and tomorrow we're going to talk about the Kim Burrell situation, but not from the aspect that everybody else wants to talk about, right? We're going to talk about the Kim Burrell situation too, how it became a distraction to us, how we were distracted from what God was really trying to help us to focus on, and the enemy just uses one thing to get us completely off course. How many times have you been distracted by something? Do you know how to recognize those distractions? And then here's the third course of action that we're going to take. I want you to develop an understanding of what the purpose is so that you can experience true joy. So today, I want you to stop and I want you to ask yourself the question, what is my truest purpose? What is it that God has called me from? Understand that with your finances, understand that with your health, understand that with your marriage. Many times people will come to me and people will ask me different questions on relationship. And one of the things that I will always challenge people to go back and face or to ask themselves is, what's the purpose of it? What is the purpose of being a wife? What is the purpose of being a husband? Many people have failed miserably. I failed miserably myself at that before. But we have to go back and define what is the purpose. Once you can identify the purpose of anything, then you can fulfill that thing with a greater capacity and a greater ability. A lot of times we lack in feeling things because we have forgotten what the purpose of the thing is. And many years as I've been pastoring, I've tried to do what other churches were doing. If I saw another church have a praise team, if I saw another church have this, if I saw, thank you so much for sharing it, guys. If I saw another church do this, then I would think, oh, well, that's the new fad. Let me try to do what I see somebody else doing. But what I realized was it wasn't helping me to fulfill the purpose that God has specifically and strategically placed in my life or in the life of our church. And it will behoove me to then develop an understanding of what the purpose is that God is calling me to, right? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of why I am pastoring? What is the purpose why I am ministering? What is the purpose for that? And so I want to challenge each individual today to take action. Develop an understanding today of what is your purpose. So guys, I want you to talk back to me if you can. Talk back to me today. Amen. Great point. Great point. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, the guys. I love you for that. And I thank you guys so much for joining. While you're on, once you get off today, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go right to my website, www.mbcurtisministries.com, right? I want you to go right to that website and I want you to log in. I want you to make sure that you look through the information that's out there, amen, about purpose. We're developing more and more information every single day that we can bring to you. One of my key goals and key responsibilities is to bring purpose to you. Amen. Yes, I'm seeing that everything in my life has a purpose. Amen. You know, guys, I often tell the story. I have a potato peeler. Thank you, Ayoka. Just click right on that site when you guys get off. Still need to know my purpose. The question I want you to ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself is, what's important to you? What matters to you? What is it that you get up to do what you do for? Once you can begin to identify what matters to you, then you begin to come into an understanding, and God will begin to reveal to you what purpose is or what your purpose is. That is a great question, and I think that many people sit in that place of of not knowing or feeling like they have no clue what they're supposed to be doing. But actually stop, take a moment, back up, and ask yourself, what's really important to me? What is the reason why I do this? When I did that, when I stopped and asked myself the question, amen, but wife and daughter. But even further than that, before your wife and daughter, what's important to you? What is important to you as an individual, Derek? What is important to you? Tina, yes, you are still here for a reason. It is time for you to develop. What is that reason? What is that reason, so that I'm not just wandering around doing absolutely anything, but actually doing nothing at all? I've seen a lot of people that get excited when they are around people. Hey, Cordelia, I see a lot of people get excited when they are around people that are starting to fulfill purpose. And so they start mimicking what they see others do. But that's still not being successful at following your purpose. Amen. What's the next step once you have made it clear on what your purpose is, but still find yourself stuck? The next step is really, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, limiting your distractions so that you can better map out the plan of what purpose is. Because here's a reality. If you have been living life just by trying to accomplish goals, and a lot of people are talking about, this is a year where I'm going to accomplish goals. It's not just about me accomplishing goals. It's about me fulfilling purpose and accomplishing purpose, right? And so the next step is to identifying a clear path of what fits in my purpose, what does not fit in my purpose. Because what you will find is that a lot of things that you're doing on a daily basis aren't actually fulfilling purpose. I care about people, so I end up getting hurt. How could that be my purpose? Your purpose is not to get hurt. And your purpose goes beyond just you caring for people. What is the purpose behind it? What drives you to do what you do? What drives you to continue to care? And that's a root cause question, right? You're going to have to take a few moments just to kind of root cause that. Can you write your website? Sure. It is www.mbcurtisministries at I think that Ayoka, if you can put it back up there for me in just a few moments. Amen. Amen. That's beautiful. Not feeling appreciated. Here, guys. Here's what I'll tell you. Thank you so much, Mother Stephanie. That's the website right there. So if you want to go to the website, view the website, please sign up for that. Please sign up for that. Guys, Yvette, I want to speak directly to you, and I want you to help you understand your purpose. It's more developed than those that are around you, right? And so what has to begin to happen, you have to begin to seek into yourself. A lot of times those that are around you that just keep hurting you, that just keep doing that, they become distractions. So they distract you from actually fulfilling what you were purposed to do. They actually begin to make you focus on them rather than you focusing on what God has purposed you here for. And so, Yvette, one of the things that you might want to begin to do, and thank you guys so much for those hearts and for those likes. Thank you so much. I think that's Darius and my assistant pastor too. Thank you so much. You're going to have to begin to develop a plan to begin to separate yourself. I say men, I mean people in general. Amen. Thank you so much, Cordelia. Thank you. Great conversation, guys. That's so very, very true. So very, very true. You've got to begin to develop a plan within yourself that you begin to limit those people. You know, I live in a very small city, right? It's very, very small. And a lot of times there are a lot of people who have the crab mentality, right? And you guys know what the crab mentality is, where you have other people that are doing the same things that you're doing. And so what they begin to do is laugh at or talk about the way that you're doing it so that so that they will try to make you feel as though what you're doing is not important, right? It happens a lot of times with other pastors and with other church people. Right? And so what I had to begin to do was kind of separate myself from all of that and focus myself more on what it was that I was called to do less the distractions of the people that were in the crab mentality. Yvette, chances are a lot of people that you may have around you don't know what their purpose is, and they're not fulfilling it. What I have noticed is that when people do not have a clear path to their purpose in life. Hey, Bishop Kendall. Hey there. And I also see Pastor Elder Boswell as well. Thank you so much. I love you. Amen. I've noticed that people, what they will begin to do is just tear down, right? Crabs in a bucket mentality. They see someone else beginning to fulfill purpose, and so what do? They begin to talk about them negatively. They begin to laugh at them. They begin to gossip about them, right? I've been seeing a lot of church people do this, right? I've been seeing this happen a lot. And what I've understood and come to understand is when people do not understand their full purpose and they're not happy with themselves where they are, right? They will actually begin to try to distract you from fulfilling your purpose and doing what God has put in your life to do. And so you've got to begin to separate yourself from those types of individuals. Do not try to continue to stay on Facebook with them. Do not try to stay on social media with them. Thank you so much for those joining on Periscope too. Don't try to stay on social media with them. Don't try to hold conversation with them, and never compare yourself to them. You've got to understand who you are and who you were created to be beyond what society attempts to try to force you to be, right? I get so proud when I finally find someone that is beginning to limit the distractions in their life of individuals and people that are actually not knowing what they're doing. One of the things I watch, and a lot of times it happens in men, we become so visually impaired that we see what other people start having, and then we become miserable because we don't have. Thank you so much for those joining on Facebook, on Periscope and on Twitter. Thank you so much. We become miserable, right? And then when we do that, we begin to hurt those that are around us because we don't have what we want. Thank you, Pamela Daniel. I love you. Amen. Sure, I am going to be for the next 10 days, Lillian McRae, for the next 10 days. So come right back on tomorrow. We're going to do 10 days of purpose. We're going to also do power sessions where we are going to get further and deeper into the explanation of finding purpose and how we walk in purpose. Because I'm going to tell you right now, nothing else really matters. Nothing else really matters except for you fulfilling the purpose that God has given you. Nothing else really matters. You fulfilling purpose. You walking in purpose. You fulfilling purpose. You operating in purpose. You limiting distractions for people that would try to pull you away from purpose, right? Nothing else really matters. You've got to be so focused on what God has purposed you to do that it becomes a part of your daily life system. It becomes a part of all that you aspire after and that you walk after, and never let people begin to pull you, or distractions begin to pull you away from the purposes that God has given you. Guys, do me a favor. Please, the website is already there. Thank you so much. You can continue to share your comments, and I will continue to respond to them. Thank you so much. I don't want to stay on too long to just so focus. Amen. Love you, Shaquana. Love you for all of my church that is on here, the Sanctuary RIC. I appreciate you for jumping on tonight and for following. Decide what gets your attention. Now that right there is a very key tool, Mother Stephanie. Decide what gets your attention. I think sometimes we get so focused and let anything get our attention. We have to make a decision. Is this worth getting my attention? Does this actually? I love you. I love you. Is this worth getting my attention? I've had to realize that some things are not worth my attention, right? I see people commenting on a lot of different things and making statements about a lot of different things on Facebook, and I have to stop and I have to say, that's not worth my attention. I'm not willing to give up a portion of my attention, because it takes time and space to give attention to anything, right? It takes time and space. And so you've got to be willing, even in relationships with people. I often tell people all the time, you'll be in a relationship with someone and they'll leave a sock on the floor, right? And you'll go and fuss about leaving the sock on the floor. Is that sock really worth your conversation right now? Is that sock really worth your attention to draw it from what you need to be focused on, right? And answer it honestly. Live your truth. Absolutely, Stephanie. Live your truth. That is one thing that we've been talking about at our church, and I know a lot of people have a very difficult time doing that. I had a very difficult time doing that at one point in life because it's hard to live your truth in this type of society. But the reality is you must be honest with yourself about who you are and where you are, right? So you can't fix anything until you can first be honest about where that thing is. You can't fix anything until you can first be honest about where that thing is. And I think a lot of times we forget that it will take. Thank you so much, Ayoka, for putting that on Periscope, for the website on Periscope. Thank you so much. We forget that this is my truth. I am this way, and this needs to be fixed. I can't fix it unless I face it. How can you fix what you're not willing to face? If you know that you're not fulfilling purpose in life, you need to start to ask yourself, where am I? What am I doing? I need to make some changes here, right? Identify the root cause. Absolutely. We must identify the root cause. I know that we did a series at our church one time before where we really began to drive back or drill down. Amen. We begin to drill down. Hey, Derek Dabney. That's my cousin, guys. We really begin to dig down what root causes were, right? And a lot of times we don't like to ask ourselves the 5 questions, the 5 why questions, to figure out what the root cause is for the reason why something is a certain way, or the reason why something feels the way it does, or the way that something is the way that it is. But until you can begin to drill down the root cause and a basis of understanding why this is the way it is, or why I am the way that I am, you cannot fulfill Periscope. Yes, you cannot fulfill purpose. Amen. Amen. Hey, Arthur, how are you? Hey, I didn't realize who that was. Hey there, Mark. How are you? Please, guys, yes, Periscope. I'm on Periscope. I don't know the page name on Periscope. I will do you a favor. I will share the Periscope video with you, or I'll tag you in it or something. Yvette, I'll tag you in that. Oh, there we go. The handle on Periscope is Pops Curtis. Amen. Thank you so much. I didn't even know what it was. I haven't been on Periscope in such a long time. So, guys, please share that please jump on Periscope and you can actually view it as well, okay? Guys, I thank you so much. I'm blessed. I'm blessed as well. I hope that you could come out Sunday or Tuesday to service. We miss you. Amen. I miss you and I love you a whole bunch. I'm hoping that I've been a blessing into your life. Happy New Year's, Travis. Happy New Year's to you. I appreciate you, man. I am hoping that I've been a blessing in your life today. We're going to do more dialogue on purpose tomorrow. We're going to be talking strategically about distractions to our purpose. We're going to get into more detailed conversations about the distractions that actually prevent us from fulfilling purpose, prevent us from finding purpose, prevent us from walking in purpose. And I think that once we can identify what those things are, then we can begin to deal with them, right, for the root of what they are. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining. Please log on to our website, www.mbcurtisministries.com. Please log on to this website or to that website. You can actually see the live videos from that website as well. They will also play there. And you can also get information from there. I love you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. Please, please, please invite someone tomorrow. You come back tomorrow and day 2. We've got 10 days that we're going to do. And so today is day 1. And then tomorrow is going to be day 2. And we're going to get definitely into dealing with the distractions. And then we're going to talk about on the 3rd day, becoming open. And I think that a lot of us need to become open to the space around us so that we can begin to develop a plan to walk in purpose a little more effectively, right? And then day 4, we're going to talk about the sin of the words, I don't know. The sin of the words, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that too much now, but I want to challenge each of us to understand that one of the greatest sins that we commit against ourselves and against our own life is by saying, I don't know. I don't know. Because we always do know. But that's one of the quickest things that we run to, and it stops us from being as effective as we can be. and anybody who knows me, that gets into personal conversation with me, when you start saying I don't know, I always say, yes you do. I need to know why. I need to know more. Thank you so much. You know what? I must say, I absolutely love my church members, and thank you so much, Travis. I appreciate your message. I just got that. I absolutely love. I've got the best church members, the best overseers. My Kia is on here, Overseer Collier, which is our assistant pastor. Amen. I hated it. Yvette, those words, I don't know. You do know. That's one of the excuses that we use. And we're going to dig into that on day 4. So you guys make sure you come back for the next couple of days, because I think that we're going to have some great information. You can also send me topics if there are questions that you want me to answer, or you want me to do a little research on before we get on here at 6:30. Please send it to my inbox. I will be very, very happy to get on here and answer those questions that you may have. So please send that information to my inbox. If you have questions, send that to my inbox. If you want to discuss a specific topic for these next 10 days, or you want something to be covered, please inbox that to me. I'll be more than willing to actually discuss those things and to talk about it. We do know, but sometimes we don't understand. We need to train ourselves to understand. That's what we're going to talk about. Training yourself to know how to understand. Beth said to let you know. Hey, Beth, I love you, Beth. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for listening. Guys, let me tell you something. I have some of the greatest people around me, and not even just those at my church. Cordelia, hey, she's not at my church, but she's one of the greatest, most inspirational people that you could ever meet. Bishop Kendall. Amen. Pastor right here in this city. Amen. He dealt with some of the same challenges that I have as a new pastor, but a very, very loving person and great person as well. And so, guys, it's nothing better than having good people. One of my best friends in the world is our assistant pastor. Him and my admin, Ioka, that's on here. I keep those two people around me, and they are constantly speaking the positive things and reminding me to get focused, and I do the same for them. You gotta have people in your life that are not always ready to gossip and always ready to distract you and always ready to pull your attention. You gotta have people around you that are willing to point out the good and to push you to do better so that you can fulfill purpose, right? You got to have that in your life. Guys, thank you again so much for joining. Thank you so much for sharing. You mean the world to me. Bishop loves you so much. I love each and every one of you. Please send me inboxes and let me know whether today has blessed you and how it has. I enjoy reading your messages. Tony, thank you so much, all the way in Newport News or Virginia Beach, I think it is. Thank you guys so much for jumping on and joining Bishop today. You mean the world. Overseer Micaiah, I love you. I just give you a big hug, just a big hug. Shaquana, I love you. Stephanie, I love you. You guys know how much you mean to me. You are my world. You are my world, and I live because of you. And I thank you so, so very much for all that you do. And all of my Facebook friends and family, I love each and every one of you. Let's fulfill purpose. Do me a favor today, guys. When you are sharing this message, or if you're sharing or tweeting anything that I'm saying today, I just want you to use the hashtag power of purpose. That's what we're going to be talking about for the next 9 days, the power of purpose, okay? So please share this message. Please share the post. Go on the page. Amen. You can also donate on the page. You can go directly to that page and you can donate to M. Bernard Curtis Ministries directly from my website that Ioka has put up there. Please sign up, because we have power sessions that are going to be coming up starting February the 9th, and these power sessions are going to actually be virtual classroom settings that we are going to be actually digging into some deeper levels of teaching you how to flow in purpose for different things, such as speaking, teaching you how to flow in purpose for living and different things of that nature, okay? Guys, I got to let one person, Ben, I've got to let one person say hello because he was so excited. I want to tell you, when you walk in purpose, come here, son. When you walk in purpose, God will show you that you have everything you need, right? I was here and I don't have any adjutants, around me or whatever. But God, amen. Here's my son.
Hello. Hello.
Y'all please forgive him. He's been at home all day long.
I need to do something.
Amen. He came in and he was trying to help me prepare and going to get my water and bringing me a towel, and he thought that it was going to be like a Sunday morning, right? And so he was trying to prepare everything. I wish you weren't so far as well. I love you, that appreciate God for you. So he made sure that he prepared everything for his dad. So I did definitely want him to be able to say hello to everybody. Thank you guys so much for jumping on again, okay? All right, guys. Mother Stephanie said hi.
Hi.
See everybody saying hi right there.
Hi. My dad drew on my face this morning.
All right, guys. So I will talk. I'll come back tomorrow at 6:30. Please make sure you jump back on and join me then, okay? All right, guys. I love each and every one of you. Don't forget to send me your inboxes and to also log on to the website, okay? All right, guys.